Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here. So today we have double shot of Chisme. Well, okay, so we have one real big gossip and the other one is something that we kind of talked about that got announced. So today's video is going to be a buying everything Natasha Denona video because today, and actually, well, the truth is people have been sending me this for a few days now, but I have been waiting to kind of get an idea if this is true or not, and I believe that this is true. So I've got a gossip for you guys and also a huge brand announcement from Natasha to share with you guys. So today's video is going to be fun packed, and if you love Natasha Denona, then maybe you would want to consider hitting subscribe to this channel, because if you are not aware, I have a whole series called Buying Everything Natasha. I started it last year with 1 year, 1 brand, and I turned it into Buying Everything Natasha for year number 2. So for the entire year, I'm going to be buying every single new release from Natasha Denona, and I'm excited because we've got 2 new potential releases, and actually one that may not show up on the channel, but we'll get into why. But if you are not subscribed, please don't forget to go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now. Join the family, and let's go ahead and let's get into it right now. Okay, so first things first. I'm just gonna start off with the Chisme first. So let's start off with the gossip. So the gossip is, so this alleged Cupid palette that we have been hearing about, and I think a lot of us thought that this is gonna be a Valentine's palette, like it's called Cupid, like this is gonna come out for Valentine's Day, right? Well, it looks like there has been an announcement that the Cupid palette is going to be part of Boxycharm, okay? So this is actually kind of shocking in my opinion, because I really thought that this was going to be some type of Valentine's release, but then when Valentine's came around and we didn't get a Cupid palette, I was like, that's kind of weird, right? So they did this once before with Jubilee. I thought Jubilee was going to be this launch, like maybe some colorful palette or something, and it ended up being a Boxycharm exclusive palette, which I did end up getting because at the time I was a Boxycharm charmer. Is that what they're called? The charmer. I was a charmer at the time, and I actually did get that palette. And there was also another palette that came in Boxycharm too, the one that was kind of like very nudie. I forgot the name of that one, but there was 2 palettes that I believe have already arrived in a Boxycharm. But now, apparently, allegedly, from very many of my internet detectives out there have sent me confirmation, alleged confirmation, that there is going to be a Cupid palette this year, and it's most likely going to be inside of a Boxycharm. Now, looking at this image of what this alleged palette is going to look like, I will say, guys, looking at what I see as the palette, I think it looks kind of cute. It actually reminds me of a retro. Like, it looks like a mini retro. So if you guys have actually seen this image that has been going around on Instagram, leave your comments down below and let me know if you think it also looks like a mini retro. It looks like it has maybe like the burgundies and the cream colors and like, you know, like the mid-tone brown that's kind of more to the burgundy side. It's actually pretty, okay? So that's the truth, it's pretty. And I personally think it might actually have been prettier than the Valentine's palette that we actually just got. So this one's very, very cute. I liked the color arrangement. It looks very Valentine's-y. This Cupid one looks a little bit more wearable, maybe a little bit less Valentine's-y. It doesn't have like this pinky color. It looks more like for the everyday person. That's what I think. So if you don't like everyday palettes, this looks like a more everyday palette. I think it's pretty. They have not said whether it's going to be a bigger size or a mini size. All the other ones that have come out in Boxycharm have been like the longer palettes, like that weird in-between size. I don't know what it's called, but it's like not the minis, but it looks like a mini. It's just bigger. But looking at this image, I almost feel like it's going to be a mini, but it might not. It might actually be bigger. I have no idea. So this alleged Cupid palette is real, and most likely it's going to be coming to Boxycharm. Now, can you purchase this on its own from Sephora, from a vendor, or even from Natasha? I don't know. And a lot of people are speculating that you may not be able to because the other ones you weren't. Now, I will tell you that Boxycharm has like this online store thing that I don't know if you can access it if you're not a charmer, you probably can't, but you can actually buy the palette if you don't get it. So that is a way that maybe some people can try to get it by having one of the Boxycharm members buy it for you. That would be an interesting thing to do, right? Send it out in the Boxycharm so that a lot of people already start talking about it, and then throw it into Sephora. And then a lot of people will probably buy it from Sephora too. It's almost like free PR, right? So that would probably be a good idea. Are they going to do that? I don't think so, but that would be really nice because then we could have the opportunity to actually try it as well. Looking at it, I think it looks cute. And in reality, I probably would have picked it up if it was not a Boxycharm. I am not going to sign up to Boxycharm just to get this palette. So I do know people do that. A lot of people like to do that. They sign up to Boxycharm just to get the Natasha palettes. That's something that you're into. I could always put a link to Boxycharm down below so you could see what it looks like. But this is alleged. There is no confirmation for sure that it's going to be in Boxycharm. So you may actually sign up and not even get it. And I will say that there has been a lot of times that Boxycharm will say you're going to get a palette and you just end up getting the box that doesn't get the palette. So there is no guarantee really, unless Boxycharm comes out and says everybody is going to get this, which they usually don't do with Natasha. So I don't know if you would even get this palette, you know? So I would not suggest you sign up to Boxycharm. That would not be what I would do. But if it's something you really, really, really want to get your hands on, I would wait until Boxycharm formally announces it before doing it. But yeah, that is supposedly the chisme. That's the gossip. The gossip is that the alleged Cupid palette is coming, but it's coming to Boxycharm. That is what I have heard, okay? So that is our big chisme. I know a lot of you guys were waiting for this Cupid palette, and I know a few of you guys were actually excited because you wanted to see what the Cupid palette would actually come out to look like, and it actually does look pretty. I think so. And tell me below if you thought so too, because I do think so. Now, so the other huge announcement is Natasha has finally announced the Pastel palette. So she says that the Pastel eyeshadow palette with you guys, this is the official reveal. So she finally revealed it up on Instagram, and she says that it's a limited edition palette. So we did not know that, and it is going to be the midi size. We did know that. 15 creamy, playful shades, including my signature powder mattes, sparkly metallics, and dual chromes. She also says alongside with a new formula. So I did not know there was going to be a new formula that introduces a vibrant, dreamy, translucent dual chrome shade that can be worn alone or as an illuminating top coat. So that's actually kind of cool. I bet you it's going to be like that color that was like a creamish color that we talked about. So this creamy color right here, I thought that color could be a little bit boring. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was like whitish color. Now, she also says here, which I think this is really interesting because this is something that I observed in my Make Up Your Mind. If you guys haven't seen my Make Up Your Mind, I kind of said that this is like one of those palettes that you just like wear one color on the lid. But she did say go monochrome with one shade in different tones, which I think that is probably the best way to play with this palette. If you guys look at my eye look today, this is going to be something that's coming very, very soon. I'm going to be showing you guys how to do very simple, colorful looks. So this is something coming. But anyways, this is kind of like an idea of how you can use this palette. Just a very easy, monochromatic, one color look. She says also you can unleash your inner artist by exploring colors and adding a pop of pastel to your everyday eye look, which I also think is a fun way to do it. You use your neutral colors and you add that pop with the pastel colors. So this is a $65 palette. You can pre-order it right now on Natasha Denona's website, or you can buy it at Sephora on March 14th. It's going to be available on the app, and it's going to be in the stores on March 15th. So of course there is all the other regions of France and everywhere else that they're going to be announcing. So if you guys want to know when the Natasha Denona Pastel palette will be available in your region, she actually has it all up on Instagram. So I will link that down below as well. But I am actually excited. If you saw my Make Up Your Mind, then you would know that I kind of said that at the end of the day, it probably would not have been a palette that I would have like really wanted to pick up. But because of what I do, and because I like to play with makeup, and because I have a makeup channel, and because I play with beauty and fashion, I do enjoy having a lot of different colors in the spectrum, and a pastel palette, even though is not something that I would gravitate to, it is fun for me to have because I do like to play with those colors. Now, do I need to have it in a $65 Natasha Denona palette? No. Probably have it in more inexpensive brands since it's something that I don't use very often. So I do think that that's something for you guys to consider on your own, whether you think the investment in a limited edition pastel palette from Natasha is worth it to you, or you can go the cheaper route. And I think some of you guys have said other pastel palettes that you thought were really good as well. If you commented on my last video where I did my Make Up Your Mind, leave your comments on this video of those other brands that have really good pastel palettes that are not as expensive, because I do think that's actually pretty helpful. It's a good thing to think about, you know. Just remember that I have a makeup channel, so sometimes when I purchase these things, you know, I do get views, I do get paid. So some of this stuff for me is really fun, and it also goes within like what I do. But it doesn't mean that you need to go out and purchase this for yourself. Like if you don't really like pastels, maybe you don't wear them that much, maybe Natasha Denona pastel palette's not for you. But if you love pastels and you love color, then like this is like awesome because her formula is really amazing and I'm sure it's gonna be pretty good. I did see a review that's already up. Review from Jenna Phrase is actually up right now. I will link it down below. And she's saying that she doesn't think that the quality was 100% there. Like almost like you have to build up the pastels a lot. And looking at her skin tone, she's pretty fair. So if she has to build up these tones a lot, I'm just even wondering, like me who has a light medium skin tone, if this is going to show up. That's something we're going to find out as people start buying it and putting this to the test. I will say that ColourPop once released this beautiful palette that I thought was going to be insanely amazing, all colors that were a little bit more muted down, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to love this. And I couldn't see hardly any of the shades on my eyelids, so I'm assuming that nobody deeper than me was able to see it either. So I'm hoping that's not the case with this palette, because Natasha typically has really good pigment in her palette, so I would assume that this is going to work. I will say that building up shades for me is usually not a big issue, especially when it comes to colorful palettes. When you start playing with color, if you can't build it up, if it's just like strong right off the bat, you can completely destroy an eye look. Okay, so like completely destroy one. I've played with colorful palettes that are so pigmented that if you want to do something like even what I did today, if you mess up on that inner corner and you just put way too much pigment in, there is no coming back from that, you know? So being able to build up the color allows you to kind of just like play and put placement of where you want it and like build it up and then add more to certain areas, leave other areas a little bit more sheer. So I don't mind building up an eyeshadow palette, like especially when it comes to color. But there's a difference between building up and it getting deeper and prettier, or building up and it looking powdery and never really getting to a full pigment. So that's what we're gonna figure out with this new palette, and we'll see. I have mixed feelings on whether I'm going to love this or not. I don't know. I kind of feel like, I don't know. Circo Loco was one that I thought that I wasn't gonna like, and when I got it, I was like, oh my goodness, the quality of Circo Loco is so good. The palette makes absolutely no sense. All the colors are like a complete, like, I don't know, like somebody went crazy and just decided to throw a bunch of colors in a palette. It is just nuts, okay? It's loco. But at the end of the day, the quality is so good that anytime I want color, I jump in that palette. Like I just think of, ooh, colorful looks, Circo Loco. If it can do that same thing to me in a pastel format, then maybe I will really love this, you know? So we will wait and see. If you guys actually got a hold of it and you're in Europe, tell us down below. Is this good? Is the quality there? We all want to know, especially us that do not have it yet and want to pre-order it. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed. That is your Chisme, that's your gossip, and also an awesome announcement from the brand that Pastel Palette is out and it's real and it is here and you can actually see it on my channel. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.